Hey guys, so today we're going to do an intro to polynomials. And you are probably thinking, what in the world is a polynomial? So we are going to go over some important vocab words first. I've already written the vocab word and definition out for you, so we're just going to go over what they mean. A monomial. Mono, you think of one, okay? So a monomial is a number, a variable, or the product, multiplication, of a number and one or more variables with a whole exponent. That's important, okay? So we need to keep that in mind, all right? So let's look at all these examples down here. -4. Is that a number? Is it a variable? Or is it a product? Well, it looks like a number to me, so that would be considered a monomial. How about this one? 1/2 times y squared. Well, this is times, which would mean a product. So this too is a monomial. It also has a whole exponent. 2 is a whole number, so it is an exponent that is a whole number. So it's good. Then we go down to 2.5 times x squared times y. Again, multiplication, and that's okay. And just a coefficient, whole number exponent, and this is a 1, so that's okay also. So these are examples of monomials. All right, looking over here. So what might be wrong here? This is x raised to the 1.5. Well, 1.5 is not a whole number. So this is not a monomial. Not monomial, because it has a decimal, not a whole number exponent. Okay, how about the next one? The next one we'll do is x, 7 to the exponent of x. Well, 7 raised to an exponent, that's not allowed. The x cannot be the exponent. Okay, and over here, what's wrong with this one? Well, the variable is in the bottom. So, variable in denominator. That's not allowed. All right, so those are examples of monomials and not monomials. Okay. Moving down. Monomial meant one term, so like here's one thing, okay? Polynomials mean that there's going to be more than one. So, a polynomial is a monomial or a sum of monomials. Sum means addition or subtraction. It's okay. All right? Each monomial is called a term of the polynomial. So, let's look down at these examples. These are polynomials. They have one term, two terms, three terms. They're separated by an addition or subtraction sign. So, this is a 3-term polynomial. Okay, there's 3 terms. How many are here? We have 1, 2. So this is 2 terms. Not too bad so far? Again, if you are having difficulty with anything, make sure you just put a little star or something, like where you're having trouble, okay? Like if you don't know how to identify what these terms are, make sure you star it so you can ask next time I see you, okay? Degree of a monomial. The degree has to do with exponents, okay? It's the sum of the exponents of the variables within the term. So we're talking about just monomials, so just one term, all right? Here's one term. This x has an exponent of 1. So this is going to have a degree of 1. On this one, here's one term. This x is raised to an exponent of 2. This y is raised to an exponent of 1. We have to add the exponents together. So it's going to be 2 plus 1 is 3. So this monomial has a degree of 3. So degree of 3. And lastly, do we have any variables? There's nothing there, right? That's just considered a constant. It's just a number. It's a monomial, but there's no variables. So does it have a degree? There's nothing raised, so it's going to be a degree of 0. Not too bad, right? All right. Going to take it one step forward, just like we did before. This is called the degree of a polynomial. So now we're going to take a bunch of these, put them all together, and decide what the degree of it is. Okay? And the way we figure that out is it's the biggest degree of the polynomial. So here's one term, two terms. The biggest degree I see is 2. This has a degree of 2. This has a degree of 0. So the degree of the polynomial would be 2. Degree of 2. This one, this q is raised to a 1. So this is 1. This one is going to be q has a 1. R is raised to a 3rd. So 1 plus 3 is 4. This has a degree of 1. This has a degree of 4. So the degree of the polynomial is going to be the bigger one, 4. Degree of 4. Last important vocab word. Standard form. It just means that we're going to put all of these terms in order of degrees, from greatest to least. So we're going to go from greatest degree to least degree. Okay, lost my camera. There we go. Okay, here we go, greatest to least. So this has a degree of 0. This has a degree of 2. This has a degree of 1. And this one has a degree of 3. So you're just going to put them in order. This one's the highest, a positive 11 x to the 3rd. Then there's a positive 3 x squared. Then a negative 9x. Make sure you keep those signs in front. Okay, you know that. And then a positive 6. We don't need this plus sign there. Okay. Last thing is that this is called the leading coefficient. Why do you think it's leading? Because it's in the front. Coefficient. All right, 11 is the leading coefficient. It's in the front of standard form. All right, moving on. Classifying polynomials. So you have a polynomial, now you got to classify it. If it has 0 degrees, just the number by itself, it's going to be called a constant. Okay, it's a constant number. If it has a degree of 1, this kind of looks like y equals mx plus b, right? What kind of equation is that? That's called a linear. This one has a degree of 2, right? Degree of 2, so it's going to be called a quadratic. Fancy words, I know. Has a degree of 3. It's going to be called cubic. Just like when you cube something, you raise it to the 3rd power. Anything with 4 or more is easy. It's just going to be degree of whatever the number is. This one would be a degree of 9. Okay, so that's by its degrees, by its exponents. Okay, we can write exponents. Right, exponents. All right, down here, we're going to go by term numbers. How many terms does it have? If it has one term, like an 8 or a 6x to the 5th, that's going to be called a monomial. We just went over that in the front. Okay, one term, by just one term. 2, binomial. I think the terms are easy to remember than the degrees. 3, think of a tricycle. It's going to be a trinomial. 3. All right, 1, 2, 3. And last but not least, if you have more than 4 or more, you can just say it is this would be a 4-term polynomial. That's it. All right. So what you're going to do on these ones, you're going to do these 4 problems. I'm going to do number 1 with you, and you're going to do 2, 3, and 4. Okay, we have to write each polynomial in standard form, and we're going to identify the degrees and classify each polynomial by the number of terms. So we're going to take the biggest one, which is this one. So 5x to the 2nd, then minus x, then plus 4, constant at the end. Okay. How many terms was that? That was 1, 2, 3. Okay. And what's the degree? The degree is raised to the 2nd. So come over here. 2nd degree is a quadratic, and 3 terms is a trinomial. So it's going to be a quadratic trinomial. Oh, trinomial. And that's it. That's all you're doing. Okay. Go ahead and do 2, 3, and 4. Save 5. We're going to do 5 in class. Okay. I'll see you next class.